Year 5 Season 1 saw a huge revamp to the XP system. There are buffs here, nerfs there. Brave move for Massive to make, but something I think the community has wanted for a very long time. So how has it gone down? Here's my take. Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you very much for joining me for today's video. If you do like this one, drop a like, subscribe, all of that good stuff down below. Now with each new season comes a new season pass, shortly followed by a flurry of videos telling you the best way to earn experience in the Division 2 to rank up that season pass to 100 as quickly as possible. Now for the longest time, each one of those videos pretty much said the same thing: resource convoys. Of course, there have been exploits that have allowed you to gain a ridiculous amount of XP very quickly, like the Summit farm or more recently the General Anderson Manhunt farm. But as far as intended experience, resource convoys have been the daddy forever. Well, with Season 1 of Year 5, Massive sought to change that. In the patch notes, they provided this graphic to explain the upcoming changes. Now, I've gone through this before, so I'm not going to bore you and go over it again, but essentially, Massive have tried to balance each activity in the game so that if you were to play each one for an hour, you'd get roughly the same experience from each activity. They also increased the overall XP by about 12%, I believe they said. So even though you're going to see resource convoys have been nerfed and you're going to see blockades have been drastically increased in terms of experience, overall, XP-wise, 12% higher. Now, if you've played the new season and you've tested out the new XP, how do you feel about these changes? Leave it down in the comments below. I have to say, for me, this has been the most profound change for a long time. And that might sound ridiculous. That might even sound a little bit exaggerated. Maybe it is. I don't know. Because, you know, it's really only experience. But I find the first couple of weeks of a new season the most engaging, whether that be on the Division 2 or other games like Destiny. The first couple of weeks for me is where I really get into it and I start to tail off towards the end. I think it's because you get the new content, you get new weapons, you get new gear, you get a new story, all of that sort of good stuff. Now that has somewhat been dampened for the longest time in the Division 2, because whilst I could play other activities to get XP, the best rewards are usually at the end of the season pass. So automatically I resort to resource convoy farming because it is by far, or was by far, the best XP farm in the game, and that way I can get to level 100, get all that good stuff, and have some good fun. Resource convoy farming is brutal. You spend half the time scouring the world map looking for the next convoy. It's very, very boring. Now, since Season 1 went live, I've not touched a convoy unless I come across them on my travels. And yes, I said travels, because now, instead of spending most of my time in the map looking for the next resource convoy, looking for the next control point or safe house or whatever it is to spawn into to get to that resource convoy, I actually find myself running from one activity to another. I've never rescued so many hostages or stopped civilians from being executed. There are so many areas that just look totally new to me because I simply haven't run past them for so long, because I'm normally just in my map, fast traveling from one location to the other. And it feels really, really great. Considering we've had this map for 4 or 5 years, it almost feels new to me, because the amount of running I've been doing and seeing all this stuff that I've not seen for so long, the game just feels new to me because of these changes. Now, I don't know what the best XP farm is going forward. I'm pretty sure just finding a cluster of open world activities is going to be kind of up there, if not top dog. I normally spawn at the Lincoln Memorial Mission and run to Washington Monument Control Point, because here you're looking at about 12 to 15 activities. You've also got 3 control points along the way. Around the Washington Monument itself, the control point, you're looking at like 8 to 12 activities. And once you complete one, or once you complete a couple, the one that you previously did or at the start spawns back. So you can almost stay in that area, and it's almost like a circle. And it's very, very easy to just run around that area and pick up a ton of XP. Now this might be the best area, but quite often, you know, I'll just spawn at DZ East main entrance and take on the activities around there because, you know, why not? I can run from activity to activity knowing that not only am I getting a lot of XP that's probably meta at the moment in terms of where the best place to get XP is from, but also I'm, you know, looking around the map, parts of the map that I haven't seen for so long, which just, like I said, feels really good. Who would have thought such a simple change, it would seem, although I'm no game dev, so I don't actually know what it took to make this happen, how a change like this could really make a huge difference, at least for me. I've yet to go to New York and run around that map looking for activities, but you know what, I cannot wait because I know that's going to feel even more new than the Washington map does right now. Of course, as well, I will say is this really only applies to the XP for the opening of the season. That's really where I spend most of my time trying to get to the level 100, and after that point it's kind of irrelevant. Of course, that makes sense, but yeah, that first kind of 100 levels, this has been really great. I realise as well I could be alone with how profound a change this is for the game, but I've not enjoyed being in the world as much as this for a very long time, and I suspect a lot of you might feel the same way, those of you who were resource convoy farmers just like me. Now when Massive did announce the convoy farm, of course you had some people complaining about the nerf, but you know, frankly, I think this change has been just really great. There's been other great things with this season as well, which I want to cover in other videos soon. Sometimes we see nerfs and we think, you know, this is really bad. It's a nerf. We're being nerfed as players, and quite often that is the case. You know, you can look at the power that we have as players, and sometimes that's nerfed into the ground, or new builds, and that's nerfed, and it doesn't feel great. But I think this is a little bit different. I think the nerfs and buffs here had to happen. The balancing really needed to happen, and if I could, and I'm going to say this again because I've said this loads of times, if I could ask Massive to look at balancing on something else in the game, then talents talents has to be the next thing. I was about to say weapons, but actually I think talents need to be the next thing. You know, gear talents, weapon talents, whatever, they all need to be looked at. They need to be balanced. I realise that's probably a much bigger project than XP, but there's just so many talents in this game that are just, you know, useless, really useless. And I'm going off topic, but you know, they've done such a great job, I think, with this XP rebalancing, and I would like them to apply that same balancing to other stuff in the game that needs to be balanced, and talents for me is the next one on the list, if they can do it. But there we go, guys, that's it for today's video. Hopefully you did enjoy this one. As I said before, leave your thoughts and feedback in the comment down below. Are you happy with the changes that were made? Are you enjoying the XP rebalancing? I'm loving it. Until the next one, Epic out.